Okay, the next question is, what support do you feel is most important to carers? Now, the support that was is for you might be different than what it is for, say, Ron. I think you'll all have maybe have something different, but what support do you feel is most important for carers?
Is that during the pandemic or generally?
Generally.
Well, I think if you're a carer, it might sound a little bit twee, but I think being a carer means you've got enough love to give up so much to ensure that your loved one is looked after as well as can be. And I think we all feel as carers that we're the only person that can do that for our loved one, and no one else can do it. But we probably are, to be honest. We probably are the only ones that can really give, because we've got more empathy and understanding of that. But I think for support, knowing where to ask for help and where to get help is of absolute paramount importance, because I don't think many of us volunteer to become carers. I think we just fall into that role. And then because of the relationship we have with our cared for people, whether it be a mother, a father, a spouse, whatever, I think we stay there and we feel almost duty bound. And it's not a chore, it's something we want to do, or we'd walk out and put him in a home. So we obviously do want to do it, and that love's there to do it. And we don't really realise at that point how much help we do need and what support we need. And I think when we realise that, or actually before we need that, we have to know where to go to get that support. And it's not just financial support or assistance with bathing or personal hygiene or whatever else it might be, or bringing food to the door. It's all forms of support that you need to live as normal a life as you possibly can under the new circumstances of being a carer. That's my feelings.
I find this one very hard to answer because many people ask me that along the way. I found it very difficult to think what anyone could do to actually help, particularly because my mum had mixed dementia and also had mental health or lifelong mental health problems such as anxiety and depression. I really was the only one that was able to give her the mental health support just through, I don't mean that in any kind of big-headed way, but just because I'd known her all her life and knew her problems inside out in a way that no one else possibly could. So it was very difficult to know what to ask that anyone could do to help that mum would accept. And even when we did have carers coming in to help, they were mental health trained carers, got to the point where mum didn't want them to come in anymore, wanted me to stop them.
I had that problem, Martin.
Very difficult one to answer.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point, because if somebody said to you as the carer, what help do you need? For example, quite a flippant answer could be, I could do with a week off. But what that means is that the individual, it's not just putting the care in place and the right people in place, it's the cared for person actually accepting it. And I think I wasn't in that position. My mum, touchwood, didn't have like dementia, it was a cancer. So, but she still probably would have been the same and not wanted anybody else to be doing the things that we've all done, because they're very proud, and aren't we all? And I think that what would help you, it's them, they don't realise what would help you. And like, you know, having a week off would be perfect, wouldn't it? But you can't do it because it's too stressful to organise it and worry about it.
Yeah.
I think you're right, Julie, that being away from your loved one or the person you're caring for. I mean, I used to spend a weekend now and again down in the West Country with my son. And all the while I was down there, I felt terribly guilty not being at home, even though my brother said he'd pop in now and again to make sure she was all right. When I was at home, I was a 24/7 person. So when I was not there, if you have a carer come along in support and they come at 11 o'clock every morning, and mum fell over at 11:05 after they'd left, she'd have 23 and a half hours lying on the floor.
Yeah.
before they came the next day to help. So you're quite right. What support is useful? What support do I need? What support do I want? Or go back to that. What support do I need? That's the thing that you have to, I think, work out. It's not necessarily what you want, it's always what you need.
I also think, and I don't know if you feel the same, that it is quite difficult to ask for help. I mean,
Yeah.
for certain things, it's very easy. So, for example, we were talking to Citizens Advice about my mum's pension and things. So that was very, so sorry, that was very factual, very unemotive, and very easy, really. But to say to somebody, I'm tired, or I could do with a day off, you just feel, like you said, it's a bit inadequate and you feel guilty, and it's really hard emotionally as well as, you know, the rest of it. And I think it's like you say, it's knowing who you can ring and have a chat to, but then you want to feel safe with that chat and have time to chat and not be worrying that your loved one might, you know, but you don't want them to think that they're a burden either. So it's a really difficult dilemma, I think, that. And I think that is, you know, the flippant answer is just have a week off, because that would be wonderful, but it just doesn't happen. It's not an easy fix, is it?
No, but the key is that it's not just a week off, it's a worry-free week off that you need.
Yeah.
You don't just need the holiday, you need the break for your mind as well. And
Even a day.
It's almost
Even
impossible to get. And in the end, for me, I just came to the conclusion it wasn't feasible, that the stress of preparing some care for mum and then the worry while I was away would completely negate any benefit that I would get from the break. And in the end, I just decided, you know, it was not possible.
I think we all put a very brave face in it too, because if anybody asks us what we need, we say, no, I'm fine, it's all right, I don't know what it is. And sometimes you don't know what help and support is available, so you don't know what to ask for. But at the same time, you don't want to say you're unable to do the job that you effectively volunteered to do, and that is looking after your loved one.